All right, welcome back to episode 22 of the 50/50 Showcase. This is my second defender of five, the 22nd hero, villain, whatever of the 50. This is Portia. She is Nature Affinity, Psychic Blast, Psychic Mastery. You've seen me play all three of these sets before, but not in combination. You've seen Nature Affinity, which is a great front-facing, downrange buff set for the team with my controller Himalaya, who was plant nature, and then you've seen me use Psyblast with Charm, who is my corruptor, Psyblast Pain Affinity, or Pain Domination, and then you've seen Psychic Blast on multiple of my characters so far. So this character really is going to kind of take a bunch of these sets that I enjoy and put them together in one package. She's a front-facing, downrange, stand-back buffer buffing machine. I mentioned that nature is really strong in that regard when I was talking about my traps defender that I just played the other day. With that being a great debuff set, and how I was kind of musing at the time that nature would be a great kind of yin-yang combo with that. Anyway, not Charm. Portia, she's going to be standing back using hover, which you'll see the build in a second, in order to just keep her eye on the field, keep her eye on her allies. If she's not a buffer chasing you around like you'd see with empathy or pain or kinetics, those are the types of buff sets that kind of get annoying, at least in my opinion. So this is a nice, just put out some patches, put out some toggles, spray your heals, that sort of thing in front of you. Just keep everything in one direction. So let's take a look at the build and you'll see what the plan was. All right, let me switch over to mids. All right, so here you go. You can see that I have taken most, if not all, I took everything in Nature Affinity, actually. Yeah, I even took the Ally Res Rebirth here. That's because this is one of the newer buff sets, and the Res power has more than just Res utility. It's actually a single target heal as well. So I've taken it because of that. It gives you a little extra uh, you know, method of keeping your allies safe. Psyblast, I didn't lean as heavy into it as I did with my Corruptor Charm. I like it because of the debuffs, the minus recharge, and the soft controls of, immobilize and knockbacks and that sort of thing. Um, but I didn't lean into it that heavily as far as the control side that goes. So I didn't take the sleep, will domination. I didn't take the single target stun and scramble thoughts. I do have Psy Mastery, which gives me Dominate, which is a nice single target hold anyway. And then you've got Mass Hypnosis, which is your AoE. You see me use this and open this a lot. I like it with my defenders especially. Gives you a nice, and my corruptors, a nice way to kind of just sleep the group and then get in there and do whatever else you want to do. You saw me use that a bunch with Juliet. As far as the overall numbers go, I really went for as much of the defensive kind of stuff as I could for survival. Let me shut off some of the stuff like rest. You don't need that. Let me shut off my incarnate stuff so I don't skew the information here with that. And while my dog is drinking in the background and making some sloppy noises, which is always great. Let me pull up and shut off a couple of these other toggles. I don't need because I'm gonna go choke this dog out in a second. Oh my god. Alright, let me shut off Vengeance. I don't need that. That's only if your partners or your teammates die. I need those toggles on. Let me shut off Wild Bastion. Let me shut off Life-Giving Spores, Spore Cloud, those toggles, Wild Growth, and those clicks. Alright, here are her raw numbers. So I've got defenses sitting in the upper teens, lower 20s, so not too shabby. Smash Lethal Resistance, I went after that pretty hard. I got a lot of set bonuses for that. So I've got, close to cap, 62% damage resistance. Psi resistance is pretty good too, 33. Then if you look at the other numbers I've got here, you got to hit is at 34%, so that's going to, be more accurate. I have, in additional to that, if I go ahead and fire up, that's from tactics. Let me shut off overgrowth. Forgot to shut that off. I knew those numbers looked a little bit high. All right, so with just tactics, you're at 14.5 with to hit. So if you go ahead and click overgrowth, that's going to boost you up to 34%. So that's awesome. It's going to be able to push through a lot of, high defense, targets or overcome uh, to hit debuffing enemies like Circle of Thorns or something to that effect. So anyway, that's a nice little power to throw in there. And once I toggle all these things on, like Wild Growth, your resistance numbers shoot up to cap on Smash and Lethal. You're getting them, what, a good 20-30% boost here from this power Wild Growth, the way I've got it slotted. You throw that out there, you throw on your Spore Cloud to hit debuff, combined with your defenses, your damage resistance. It's going to make this a pretty safe build to make it your team pretty safe. Overgrowth already showed you that. When I click that, really boosts it to hits. Wild Bash, and you fire that up, that's going to give you some absorb and heal over time. So that's going to, give you another layer of defense. Your Entangling Aura, this is an auto hit hold. It's pretty sick. Plus, I've already slotted it for holds, and then if you throw in the fact that I've grabbed Core Control Hybrid, that gives me the +1 mag on the hold. This is just an auto hit aura. Things are going to be held as soon as they get right next to me. It's not a super long hold, but it's long enough to keeps you safe. It's nuts. And if anybody happens to die, you throw Vengeance out there, bang, my defenses are up in the 40-50%. I can then res the guy with Rebirth. Not Rebirth, what was that thing called? Yeah, it is called Rebirth. I was confusing that with the Incarnate Rebirth. Then I've got, speaking of Incarnates, I took Vigor Core. That's, more accuracy, more healing, which is going to really boost up all my heal numbers. Because you'll see I've got lots of, heals and absorbs. You got Regrowth, that's that forward-facing cone heal. You've got the life-giving spores. That's a patch, regen patch, endurance. I think it's endurance reducing patch. We've got Wild Bastion, which is the absorb click that I already mentioned. Overgrowth, I believe, is also boosted by heals. Let me double check that. I thought it was. Maybe not. Let me look at the effects of overgrowth. So overgrowth, no, just damage to hit, endurance discount. Anyway, you got lots of healing that you can get boosted up from the Vigor. And then Vigor also has the endurance reduction because I've got a lot of toggles I'm running. I got a lot of stuff I'm just throwing out there with blasts and different buffs, sprays, and things of that nature. So I got that. Grab Clarion because, Mez protection, you need that with the Defender, in my opinion. It also boosts range, which is nice with all these blasts. And again, forward facing sprays and cones and patches you can drop. Status protection. Plus, it has the special boost, which, if you boost special, that's going to help your heals, it's going to help your defenses. If you look at the defenses are going up as well when I activate Clarion. 80% defenses. I mean, come on, that's impossible to break through. And then I went with the rare. I don't think very many people ever take this, but Spectral. Chance to immobilize, because I want to keep things, near my debuff patch. I want to keep them in front of me. I want to keep them, at a distance if I can. So the chance to mobilize plus the negative damage proc, it's something to check. Keep your eye out, see if how useful that is. Keeping things, from running all over the place. I think that's something that, as far as a debuffy nature side of things, you want to maintain, keep stuff in front of you in the life. You're not the life-giving spores, but the spore cloud instead of running all over the place with the toggle. And also kind of team up nicely with your subdue, immobilize against, let's say, a boss. And I got hover, so I can just keep, myself get positional, tactical benefits of that power. Again, keeping things in front of me, keeping things below so I can see what's going on, keep my allies in front of me as well. So maneuverability. All right, that is the main issue or ideas behind this build. The only other thing you'll notice or I'll mention is that this is a pretty cheap build. If you look at my sets, things like Doctored Wounds, Thunderstrike, Titanium Coating, these things are really, just uncommon cheap builds. Dampen Spirits, Kinetic Crash, what's this one? Extreme Measures. None of the stuff is rare or purples or ATOs. So you could probably put this together for 100 million. If you had to buy these things yourself, you could probably get it cheaper if you're making some of these or just patient with the market. Really, the only most expensive thing might be my Luck of the Gambler and Vengeance. It's just a single purchase thing. I don't think anything else up here is more than a couple million. Yeah, I mean, this is all really dirt cheap stuff. So you can put this together yourself really cheap and be a great team buffing character, plus be able to, blast out there with enough damage that you'll contribute as well with that. Because that's the other good thing with sort of these, patchy spray type of buffers is that you don't have to, again, chase people around, try to throw single target buffs and, save everybody. You're just laying stuff out there, letting it regenerate and cook and absorbs and things. It gives you time to go ahead and blast and do your secondary. All right, I think that covers the main stuff I wanted to share. And so at this point, I'm going to go ahead and fire up the solo missions, followed by the team missions so you can see how the build works in action. All right, so stay tuned for that.